What up, gentlemen? So, scent of the day today, YSL, myself. If you don't got it yet, go get it. Book of the week, Surrounded by Idiots. You ain't read this yet, go pick it up. Today we're going to talk about being a professional. Along my journey, I've understood that being a professional is what gets me inside of the room and what keeps me there. Because one of the things that you'll understand as you start to ascend and do what you have to do is that you might have all the talent in the world, but you suck. You're not a professional. I can't have you around, or you don't bring the presence that's needed in the room that you sit in. You feel me? So being a professional precedes all of these things that you may think. Your talent, the way that you look, the way that you smell, the way that you shake a hand, even though that feeds into being a professional. You have to be a professional. And when you're in these spaces, when you start to want to ascend into these grandiose areas of life and succeed in these categories of life that you're looking to get into, you have to be a professional, because some of the rooms that you want to be in, professionals sit there. They're in tuxes, they're in suits, they got Rolexes on, they got all these things on. And although you may not be there, or it feels like you're being an imposter, you have to carry yourself in such a way that you are accepted to be in that room. It's one thing to believe that you got to be there or that you should be there. There's another thing to be accepted by the room itself. So if you're not a professional, you're not going to get in the room, but you're also not going to be there very long. If your talents are good enough to get you there. So talent's not enough. You just being you in the way that you think you are right now is not enough. Precisely why I said read a book, and I'm giving you a cologne. I think we're going to do this every single week. I'm going to give you a book every week, and I'm going to give you a cologne every day. Because it's important. These things are important in the whole aspect of being a professional and getting to the goals that you want to have, that you set for yourself. So not only is a professional important, but what feeds into being a professional, I'm going to give you some of them tips right now. So in being a professional, you got to operate in a certain way, which means that when you, let's say, for example, you're going into an establishment, you then see a gorgeous girl, because they're around and they're always around, and she works with the establishment that you are now subcontracted for. What do? Do you say hello? Do you say hello and give her the eyes? You know the eyes I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know, because when you see a gorgeous girl and you want her attention, but you don't want to make it too obvious, you get a look. Do you say hi? Do you give her the look? Do you give her a hug? Do you even push your boundaries when you start to make those relationships? And you start to, go across the borderline of this is a work relationship into I want this more personal. When you're a professional, you have to be precise with when you're doing these things. I promise you. Because like I said in the first video, your reputation will precede you. And when you start to deal with these big establishments that are paying you big dollars, you then have to have your reputation speak toward you, not only for you, but also for the business that comes with working with that establishment. Enough times there'll be a time where I'm working with an establishment, right? And we're at a meeting or we're doing a shoot for them, and then there's another big exec from a different company that comes in. So now imagine if you were the same guy that went in and said, hey, to the girl with the eyes, and maybe you gave her a hug. Don't ever do that. Handshakes only. But if you gave her a hug and you gave her the eyes and you gave her a flirty compliment, and she wasn't necessarily into you in the way that you think she was, and then the big exec comes in, and when you leave, he then asks about you, does your reputation speak to you being you as a professional, or you being Joe Barr? Think about it. There's a difference. You gotta separate. You have to separate what you want personally for what you want in your business life. So being a professional matters non-stop. And sometimes it's easier to carry yourself in a professional manner all the time and lose all the little flings that you may get in your personal life than it is to bring your personal life into your business. There's one thing I think about all the time when I'm doing business is how do I want myself to be perceived by all of those around me? And when I get up from this table and everyone's still sitting here, what was the aftermath of what happens when I leave? What happens? Do they speak negatively? Do they perceive my business as professional? Do they say, oh, he's a professional, but he has eyes for... All of these things matter. They matter. No matter how much you think they don't, they matter. When it's time for contract signing the next year for a client that you've loved, but you've been really flirtatious with all of their staff, you think they won't sign somebody who's a little bit more professional and has the same skill? Because at a certain level, when you get to a certain level of your skill, it's no longer, talent, because we're all talented, we're all skilled. Now it's about who carries himself professionally. Who can they bring into every room or any room, and you succeed simply by just being you and standing at a stature and having your reputation speak for you, and then you show up as the person that your reputation told everybody you were. Because I think sometimes you get too caught up in, I need that girl, or, she's gorgeous, I have to talk to her. One thing about being a professional, you start to understand that, all these girls are gorgeous. People are attractive, but I don't have to go after every single one of them because I'm a professional. I do this. They will find me in my personal life if I'd like to. If I want them, they will know where to find me. But realistically, another tip that you don't want to do, being a professional, is drop a dump where you play all the time. If you're at an establishment and you're supposed to do business there, why would you want to then cross-contaminate business with personal life? Never. And I promise you, one of the biggest burns I got maybe two years ago, maybe in the beginning, is flirting with bartenders, flirting with the hospitality staff. So let's say the hostess, or the concierge, or the assistant. You'll do these little flirtatious things because the two of you are attracted to each other, but you'll lose business that way. I'm talking from experience. I've lost clients that way. But you lose them. And it's important to understand body language. When you're in business, you're going to be put in positions where you have to go out to the nightclub. You have to go get a drink with the establishment that you're working with. You have to then talk to the women and be a bit flirtatious, but in a business manner. Something called schmoozing. You'll learn it along the way. And it's where you're not putting on a fake, but you're not necessarily being the real personal flirty. You're just giving them that side of you to schmooze them a bit. Business deals get closed that way. So you got to learn different skills and how to operate in a professional manner that get the job done before your personal needs. Because your personal needs can get done outside of the establishment. There's a bazillion girls in the world. You telling me you got to only work with the ones that's at the establishment that's paying you? Come on now. And you'll get attention simply because of the way that you operate in your business. You're going to smell good. You're going to look good. You're going to dress well. You're going to walk with a certain stature. You're going to speak with authority. And so you will get attention given. It just garnishes attention. You're not the norm. And so if you can't handle the attention, bro, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You have to understand that garnishing attention is one of the most, it's a financial incentive to garnish attention. The more attention you have, the bigger your reputation will speak. The bigger your reputation will speak, the more business will come to you. But it's a circle, because as you get more business, you have to become more of a professional, because there's more opportunities to slip up. And you think there aren't snakes? You think there ain't snakes in the grass, my boy? There's snakes in the grass. Think about it. And so you have to hone in on all of the things that keep you in line, keep you in being a professional, keep you in making people want you around, and keeping you in the room that you so wanted in the beginning. When I was putting up coke on a fucking shelf, bro, there are certain rooms that I thought I would never be in that I sit in right now. And the only thing that keeps me over there than the competitors that are always knocking at the door is the way I conduct myself in business, and the way I carry myself, and the way my reputation will always speak for me. Because it doesn't matter who's envious, doesn't matter who's jealous, doesn't matter who doesn't like me in the room. The way that I'm conducting my business and the way and how professional I carry it is what keeps me in the room and what keeps them from not opening the door from someone who may have better talent than me. Because once you start to create a rapport, your reputation speaks for yourself, and you continue to prove yourself worthy of being in the spot you're in, they're not just going to open the door for a random and have to put them through the same role. They're going to keep the person that's in the position as long as you're doing your job correctly, and as long as your talent and your skill and the service that you're providing continues to garnish what it's supposed to, you're good. But if you don't learn how to be a professional, you're going to suck at it. And then when someone knocks at the door, and if that person carries himself professionally off the gate, smells good, looks good, speaks well, understands how to carry charisma, understands how to be a professional as soon as they get the look or the crack in the door, and you sitting here slipping up, talking to the girls in the room and flirting with XYZ, you think we not just going to replace and swap you out? Come on, bro. You got to learn the game. The game hey, we take no favorites and no prisoners. Goodbye. The door's a revolving door. As soon as you screw up your position, it's out of there. Business will eat you and spit you out. And this isn't to bring fear into your heart, but this is for you to understand that being a professional, no matter if you're in big business, small business, side business, it doesn't matter in your personal life. Become more of a professional and it will bring more of what you want. Abundance will flock to you. As long as you conduct yourself in a professional manner. That's my message for today. Surrounded by Idiots is the book of the week. I've read this twice this week. If you ain't reading yet, read it. It's a great book. The next one after that, we'll talk about that next week. YSL Myself, make sure you get it. Not sponsored by none of these people. I'm just trying to give you good tips on the things that I wear on a day-to-day basis, the things that fuel my mind. But that was my tip of the day of being a professional. I will see y'all tomorrow.